TED Talk slow version. What if women builds the world they want to see? The heavy machinery and the work truck filled with the lumber and steel. Now picture the construction crew. Hard at work in their day glove vests and hard hats. Their tools belts slung over dusty dungaree. Now picture that crew is all women. So if you just had a brief moments of cognitive dissonance, you're probably not the only one. Our stereotypical image of the construction worker is male. And by numbers, it's not hard to see why. Only 11% of the construction industry in the US is female. And that includes operation positions. On the first lines of actual construction sites, only 4% of construction workers are female. 4%, just 1 in 25. That's totally unacceptable. But it's also a huge opportunity, both for women and for the trades. A new wave of tradeswomen, carpenters, welders, electricians, and masons are rising through the ranks. Armed with their power tools, creative thinking, and new ideas about who can and should get to build our world. I am determined to help more women enter into and grow in the trades because these are exciting, well-paying, and essential jobs. More than just an economic opportunity, though, it's a chance for women to play an equal and substantive role in the making of our physical world. Construction for many women is purpose-driven work. A career in which power tools represent personal power. I want to walk on sidewalks, cross bridges, and enter buildings that I know were raised by a community of builders that represents us all. I want to live in a world built by women, and I mean that in the most literal sense. I have loved building things for as long as I can remember, and when 16 years old, a petite, nerdy, multiracial young woman, I walked on my first construction site, and it changes everything. As I worked alongside skilled masons and carpenters, learned how to frame a roof and mix concrete by hand. For the first time in my life, I felt powerful. And at the end of that project, I stood back and looked at what has built, a town park, with a performance stage, path, and public furniture. And I knew that I had something to contribute to the world. Construction transforms my hopes and anxieties into something tangible and beautiful, something that I could point to and say, I built that. So I went on to study architecture And then I work in architecture and construction management. And I just found myself on job sites more frequently. I was almost always the only woman. And it never crossed my mind to quit because of this, but I did feel very lonely. And I longed for a sense of community. And over the past 2 decades, as I found and built that community for myself, I've realized that the reasons I love constructions are not unique, and that for my fellow trans women, we all walk on the job site with the same shared sense of purpose. We know that for us, building is both our power and our voice. When I talk to my fellow trans women, they agree that working in construction is gratifying, it's creative, and it's fun. It does not require some stereotypically masculine brute strength that is what having machine is for. Construction is mostly problem-solving, visual and spatial reasoning, and a lot of communication and teamwork. For women, a job in construction can pay more than twice the hourly wage of a comparable job in childcare or healthy aid work. And while the gender pay gap in the US hovers around 82 cents earned by women for every male earns dollar, in construction, the pay gap is nearly non-existent and 997 to the dollar. Construction and construction management are also among the fastest growing jobs for women, with clear paths into advancements and leadership. These are also jobs with long while-you're-on training programs, making them financially feasible careers to enter or to transition into. The trades desperately need women too. With over 300,000 jobs left unfilled, women are hugely untapped labor pool, and this is a time when the demands for infrastructure is only growing. And new building technologies will require new skills and new perspectives to break from the way it's always been done. We already understand the value of having more women in historically male-dominated spaces like politics, C-suites, and STEM. What is it going to take for trade women to take part and to take over? We do need a few things from the industry in greater numbers. We need more active recruitment and more equitable hiring practices. And we need leaders of all genders to step up, advocate for a better workplace culture, and to bring others along with them. But our best and bestest effort is looking into the future. We must create these intentional spaces for the next generation of trade women to learn technical skills while being unconditionally supported by a community of other women. So in 2008, I founded a nonprofit to teach design and construction skills to middle and high school students, especially young women of color. Now, Nearly 14 years later, the Northrop Girls' College has taught over 1,000 girl and gender-expansive youth how to use power tools well, draft construction documents, and work on the job sites, and together we have built over 150 pro bono projects for other nonprofits in our community. When young women walk into Girl Garage, they are acknowledged as capable and whole. They are taught by female instructors who are architects and carpenters and welders, who have lived lives and who walked a path similar to their own. When a student uses the chop saw for the very first time, I'm standing right next to them saying, "You got this." And these are things that make them different. And so the next generation of trade women, our students, will enter the trades knowing what it feels like to be respected and valued, and will know how to demand this what we are not. I may not have had a female mentor on my first construction site, but I can pay forward what I lacked to the 16 years old in front of me. In step with other youth organizations and apprenticeship programs, we're creating strong communities of trade women as a microcosm for what we believe the industry needs at a macro level. We're filling their toolboxes with drills and saws and ferocity and joy. These are the young women who will go forth to build the world we all want to see. So, when I picture a structure site, they are the crew that I imagine. This is my actual girl garage crew, the construction crew of my dreams. This is not a pipe dream, it's already a reality, but one that we must name and nurture and multiply. It is our job now to demand unconditional support for trade women in their quest to play a vital role in the construction of our world. Thank you.